الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على كل الأنبياء والمرسلين لا سيما أبا القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله وصحبه الأخيار المنتجبين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه.
قال الله تعالى في كتاب المبين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وقولهم إنا قتلنا المسيح عيسى ابن مريم رسول الله وما قتلوه وما صلبوه ولكن شبه لهم وإن الذين اختلفوا فيه لفي شك منه صدق الله العلي العظيم. Today's topic, dear brothers and sisters, will be a controversial one. Is the Spirit of God, Ruhullah, or Kalimatullah, the Word of God, which the Quran calls one of the greatest personalities which has walked on the face of the earth, Isa al Masih alayhi salam. Is he alive or is he dead? He's alive. هو حي ليس ميت. طيب.
فهي آية هستش بالقرآن إنها توفيك ورافعك
Okay.
ولكنه حي يرزق.
طيب. So let's discuss this topic a little bit deeper and see what the scholars, your ulama, are saying in this issue. Because you guys believe in the noble Quran, right? You say, I'm a Muslim, I believe in the Quran, and according to the verses of the Quran, we say that, or many say, that Isa al Masih is alive, right? Alright, so, someone is crying there. So what we can conclude from this verse that I just recited, وَقَوْلِهِمْ إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحِ عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. We can come to the conclusion that Isa al Masih did not die on a cross, did not die on a stick, whichever tradition you follow, to our Christian friends. Okay, because you have the Jehovah's Witness who say that there was no cross, there was a stick. Alright, whatever it is, the red line goes here. It's very clearly said in the verse of the Quran that this is not accepted in the Islamic belief. And that the Prophet Isa al Masih did not die on the cross. But let us continue a little bit. So what do we mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted him up? What do we mean with rafa'ahu? Alright? Is it a physical lifting? No? Did he go somewhere in the skies? I'm asking you, أنا أسألكم رفعه ما معنى رفعه؟ يعني يرفع الله عيسى المسيح بالجسم المادي إلى السماء. Yes or no? I want to answer. No? And what is it? بالروح? You guys belong to the minority if you say so. Exactly. What happened with his body then? If you say بالروح, that is a minority view. The majority view say that. You guys have been very good students, by the way. If you guys say بالروح, you have been very good students. But the majority view is, the overwhelmingly majority view is, that no, it was a physical lifting. بالروح وبالجسم. So how do you deal with that? So Isa al Masih, your prophet, is it your prophet, yes or no? Is it your prophet, yes or no? هل عيسى مسيح نبيكم يا أيها المسلمين? Yes. Who said no? So Isa al Masih, all other prophets are the prophets of Islam, one deen, one religion. So all of them are your beloved prophets. So this person, this great personality, according to the majority view, went up with his body, his physical body and his spirit. Alright, so is it a physical lifting into the outer space? When we say sama, is it cosmos? Is it the outer space? Is it somewhere in the galaxy? Is it somewhere in the solar system? Did he go to planet Venus, planet Mars, planet Jupiter? Where did he go, your prophet? To Jannah? Yes.
He's just like من صاحب الزمان يعني والخضر يعني هم هذول الناس انه رب العالمين اخفاهم مؤقتا على يطلعون اخر الزمان لما يكون اخر العصر يعني.
All right. So Isa al Masih alayhi salam is like Imam Mahdi. He's still alive and he is walking among us.
No,
if you say
he's
so.
still alive, but he's not walking among us.
Then where is he? That is the question. That is the $1 million question. Where is he? Is he like Imam Mahdi? Then you're saying that he has to be walking among us on this earth. But the sister here said in heaven, and that means paradise. So is that paradise a physical paradise?
يتذكر هو الإسراء والمعراج. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بجسده وبروحه عرج به إلى السماء. إلى السماء يعني أين إلى السماء يعني لا نستطيع أن نقارنه كسماء الدنيا الفيزيكال لأن يعني.
If you say that he went in Mi'raj with his physical body, جسم المادي, you know what you're saying? He went up in the outer space. He went into the solar system. How do you solve this? After that, what is after that? You tell me. What is Sama al-Thaniya? What is Sama al-Thalith? What is Sama al-Rabi' ila al-Sabi'? What does that mean?
يعني حسب الأحاديث
No, we don't deny the hadith. Yes.
يعني السماء الثانية تحيط بالسماء الأولى اللي هي قابلة للمشاهدة لنا يعني.
Is it physical?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You said that the Prophet went with his physical body to the Mi'raj. What happened with his body somewhere in the material universe before he went to the second heaven? That is a question, right? We need to ask ourselves. All right, we're going to come to that. Very good, Sister Fatima. And what about the second question? What about his death? The verse very clearly said they didn't crucify him, but did he die a natural death or not? He didn't die a natural death. He didn't die generally. Yes, alright. That is the majority view. So number 3, if he is alive, then where does he live? I want the answer of that question. If he is alive, it's not the same. It's not the same. The Imam Mahdi, then if it's the same, sister, then Isa al Masih should be among you on this earth. You are saying that he went up. My question is, where is up? Alright, so if he is alive, as the majority here said, very obviously, then where did he go? What does it mean that yarfa'uhu? To where? To the solar system? To a parallel universe? A parallel universe? Or is he somewhere in one of the planets? Believe me, I have sat down with some shuyukh who say that he is actually in one of the planets. Okay? Now you guys be the judge. You guys be the judge of that. If he's living in one of the planets in the solar system like Mars,
what's the benefit?
What's the benefit? And then you have 1 other million questions there. So you tell me, where is Nabi Isa alayhi salam if you believe that he is alive and he went up, not on the earth like Imam Mahdi, but he went up, then where is he? Solar system, a parallel universe, and so on and so forth. The verse which follows the previous verse that I mentioned says, بل رفعه الله إليه وكان الله عزيزا حكيما. But Allah lifted him towards himself, and Allah is almighty, all wise. And in another translation we read, no, indeed Allah raised him up to him, and Allah has been ever mighty. Alright, no problem with that. So the overwhelming majority of the ulama in all denominations في كل مذاهب يقولون ماذا؟ هو حي. صح؟ هو حي. طيب. So we have a question here. Now look at what Allama Tabatabai rahmatullah alayhi says. Who knows Allama Tabatabai here? Sahih. Who knows? You guys know him? He's one of the grand ayatollahs who died in 1981 and came with his masterpiece. He has written a lot of books, but his masterpiece was his interpretation of the Quran. Now he says that the majority view is that it was a physical lifting towards the heaven. The majority view is not saying his view. In Tabak, Ya Ulul Albab. Okay? And the ascension, I'm quoting, the ascension or the raising of Isa alayhi salam towards Allah is the lifting of both the spirit and the body, بالروح وبالجسم, to the heaven. Because what we understand from the appearance of the noble Quran in Zahir al-Ayah is that Allah lifted Isa alayhi salam to the physical sky while he was alive. So the same physical sky, which according to the majority of the ulama is the abode of revelation and the angels, Darul Malaika wa Darul Wahy, the physical sky. He's mentioning other ulama, all right? And there are a couple of things that are problematic. I need your concentration here. There are a couple of things that are problematic. Number one, those who believe in this view that Allama mentioned right now, of physical lifting to the physical sky, those who believe in this view look upon the angels, al-malaika, as physical beings. Yes or no? Are the angels physical? هل ملائكة ماديون؟ هل عندهم جسم؟ لا? That's good, that's very good. So these people are looking at the angels as physical beings. Alright, number two, another problem. The Prophet of Allah was taken to the heavens. Does it mean the outer space? Because they're saying the physical heaven. Because our dear Prophet Isa alayhi salam is alive, then he must live in this universe, somewhere in this universe. But if you want to access Barzakh, what is the criteria to enter Barzakh?
Non-physical.
Non-physical.
You have to die. You have to die to enter Barzakh. Alright. You guys are with me. Number three, the third problem with this statement of the overwhelmingly majority of the ulama among all denominations. Another thing which is mentioned is the abode of the angels, okay? And that the physical sky, the material sky, somewhere in the outer space, is the abode, it's Darul Malaika. Number four, the origin of revelation which came down upon all the prophets of Allah is also from that material sky. So you see how many issues we're getting here? Number five, the more problematic issue is what? That Allah took him up to himself. Yes or no? The verse says, Ilayya. Can I ask you, is Allah somewhere there? Up there? He's everywhere, right? Huwa muhit. Yes or no? He encompasses everything. Huwa al-muhit. Yes? So when Allah says that He lifted him up to Himself, isn't that problematic if you say it's a physical lifting, that Isa al Masih would come closer to Allah? Are you not putting Allah in a certain geographical place? Yes or no? Well, isn't that kufr? That's what some people say among the our dear brothers from Saudi Arabia, all right, they believe in it, but this is very problematic. Now, Allama Tabatabai Rahmatullah alayh explains his own view. Are you guys ready? He says in this regard to the same verse, and I have not seen any translation, any work on this issue. These are all my words. He says that the meaning of the word rafa'a, lifted, is a spiritual lifting. It's a spiritual lifting and not a physical lifting, because Allah is not somewhere up there, right? The Prophet ﷺ said, if you throw a rope in a well, in a bi'r, even there you have Allah. Yes or no? So he wanted to demolish the mind of the people who were in Jahiliyyah. It's not only up, it's down too. Huwa muhit. And then he says what? So it would mean that he would come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that means that he has a physical place. And we cannot say that. Therefore, distance and closeness in regards to Allah has no meaning. Therefore, the meaning of rafa'a, lifted, means a spiritual lifting, a raising in spiritual degrees. Darajatul ma'nawiyya, darajatul ruhaniyya. Okay? And approaching Allah spiritually. That's what he says. So as we can see here, Allama refutes that interpretation. What else? And then they mention the example of Prophet Idris. Can I ask you, ladies and brothers, Idris alayhi salam, is he alive? هل Nabi Idris alayhi salam حي؟ هل هو حي؟ إدريس. Nabi Idris. He's alive, right? That's the majority view. That Nabi Idris is alive. Don't the verse says, وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ إِدْرِيسِ إِنَّهُ كَانَ let me see here if I'm reciting right. Yes. إِنَّهُ كَانَ صِدِّيقًا نَبِيًّا ورفعناه مكانا عليا. So they say the same things that we apply on Nabi Idris, we apply on Nabi Isa alayhi salam. If that means that he's alive, then Nabi Isa is also alive. Yes.
Nobody mentioned Nabi Idris.
That what?
That he is raised to or lifted.
They do.
I never heard about it. Just
Nabi Idris, they say he is alive, that he never died, and he was lifted up into the skies.
When we hear about Riwayat Akhir Zaman, we just hear, they just talk about Nabi Isa and Imam al-Asr. They are coming up together. Yeah, that's the question.
All right, we're going to come to that. So we raised him to a high place. That's what they say about Nabi Idris alayhi salam. We raised him to a high place. And they say that everything that applies to Khidr, because Khidr is still living until our own time. So you have Shaitan, Iblis, he's a jinn, right? He's still living. Idris is still living. Nabi Isa is still living. Imam Mahdi is still living. Who else? I told you, I said Khidr, yeah. So you have all of these people living according to the majority view. Yes. إلياس أنا ما سمعت. حول نبي عيسى نبي إلياس أنا ما سمعت. And then another verse says that إليه يصعد الكلم الطيب والعمل الصالح يرفعه. So what does يرفعه mean here? Every righteous work you do is lifted up or exalted with us. I said exalted, glorified. As we can see here, يرفع means to be raised. He raises it. And it should be translated, in fact, as he exalts. He glorifies. Okay, so we have interpretation problems here. All right, going on, continuing. Another word which is mentioned when it comes to Nabi Isa is إِذْ قَالَ اللَّهُ يَا عِيسَى إِنِّي مُتَوَفِّيكَ. Yes or no? متوفيك ورافعك إلي ومطهرك من الذين كفروا وجاعل الذين اتبعوك فوق الذين كفروا إلى يوم القيامة. So what does that mean? What does that mean? You tell me, you're the Arab speakers here. What does فوت, وفات, متوفيك mean?
وفات يعني مش not vanished, but he is not dead.
No, don't go into interpretations now. Make it simple, make it basit. What does wafat, faut mean when you say that? Maut. Say it. Don't be afraid. We're going to come to the interpretations. It means maut. Bain al-Furs, Bain al-Arab. When you say that word, it means dead, die. Now look, when Allah said, "Oh Isa, I am to take you in food and to raise you towards myself." All the translations, take you in food, we call you, take you back, take you up, all of that has been said. But as we can see, the word fawt, wafat, tawaffa, all of that means death. It means death. And the Noble Quran has been using that 24 times, if I'm not mistaken, in the Quran. The word fawt in its different versions. Okay? In its different versions. 24 times, and all of it has been for death. So how come that the Mufassirin here said no, that it doesn't mean maut here. Now look here. 24 times, yes. And they give examples after examples after examples. And I will not mention the verses because we're almost out of time. But let me go to the main issue here. And I have mentioned a lot of verses where the word tawaf, fawt, and all of the other words of fawt is mentioned. And all of that in the Quran means death, to die. Okay? So the verses which are mentioned specifically in regards to Prophet Isa and his death is وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى يَوْمَ وُلِدْتُ. Who says that? Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Can I come with another example? Don't you say that the Holy Prophet in his Mi'raj went to the skies? Okay? And he saw someone there in the heavens. He saw Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Can I ask you, first of all, the seven heavens, it's in Barzakh, that's number one. It's not the material universe, it's not somewhere in the galaxy. It's in Barzakh, alright. If he saw Isa in Barzakh, what does that mean? What does it mean? That he's dead. Why are you saying that he's not dead? That was number two. Nabi Isa's word is Salamun alayya yawma wulidtu wa yawma amut. And then you have the narration of the Prophet saying, I saw Isa in Barzakh. In the fourth heaven, if I'm not mistaken. And you cannot enter Barzakh, even if you are the Prophet of God, without you dying. How could the Holy Prophet?
What about Prophet Muhammad?
What about the Holy Prophet? You can forget the Holy Prophet. The mystic scholar can reach Barzakh, but not with his physical body, but with his spirit. It's a spiritual vision. It's a Barzakh vision, what we call shuhud, what we call mukashifa. So my time is almost out. So I will jump over the verses which mention this. But another is, let me see here. In the book of Uyun, Akhbar Rida alayhi salam. What does Imam Ali Rida alayhi salam say? Now he was a very clever person. Okay, I don't know if you have seen his discussions in front of the Khulafa and the Ulama from other denominations, but he was very clever. You want to debate with the other denominations? You should better go to the class of Imam Ali al-Rida. Now they asked him, what is your opinion about Shaykhain? Now you have the scholars there, the grand ulama, the muftis, you have the Khalifa Ma'mun sitting there. Now this is the red line. This is the red line. You cannot say anything about Shaykhain. You know what the Imam said? He said, I just know one thing only, that our mother, Fatima Zahra, she died without being satisfied with the Shaykh. That was his answer. Now look at when they asked Imam Ali al-Rida about Isa alayhi salam, what he says. The lives of the prophets and the divine proofs never became an issue of doubtfulness by the people except for the life of Isa. So he says that none of the prophets, there was any doubts about their lives except for one person. There were many questions about Isa al Masih. What happened with him? Is he still alive? Is he still dead? And Imam Ali al-Rida is pointing at that fact. And then he says, and between heaven and earth, Allah took his spirit. Allah took his spiritless body. Are you guys with me? Yes. Allah, and between heaven and the earth, Allah took his spirit. Allah took his spiritless body and bodiless spirit.
Can you say it in Arabic?
No, I don't have the Arabic.
جسد بدون روح وروح بدون جسد.
أحسنت بارك الله فيك. Can you send the salawat for my auntie? There you go. نعم الترجمة.
يعني روح بدون جسد.
So what does that mean? Look how Imam Ali al-Rida maneuvers through these questions and answers. But what does it mean? Allah took his spiritless body, okay, look from the other perspective, and bodiless spirit to the heaven, to Barzakh, where Allah returned his spirit to his Barzakhi body. What does that mean? You guys tell me. You guys tell me. What does it mean? What does it mean? What is Imam Ali al-Rida saying here in Uyun al-Akhbar al-Rida?
That he died.
That he died. Continuing, Ayatollah Jawadi Amali and Allama Tabatabai now mentioning Jawadi Amali on the side of Allama. There's two heavyweights in philosophy and Islamic mysticism. And may Allah grant him a long life. Ayatollah Jawadi Amali's view is that the meaning of Rafa'ahu in the sentence Allah exalted him can be summarized in three possibilities. Number one, natural death, ascension to heaven, occultation and hiding from others like Imam Mahdi. Okay, he says there's three options here. And then he says natural death, ascension to heaven alive with the body and spirit, or occultation, ghaiba. But he refutes all of those except one. Ayatollah Jawadi Amali. Okay? He says those two are batil. Only one is right. And that is that Isa Masih died. He died.
Where is his body?
Where is his body?
I mean, أخذه. لأنه he took his body without his spirit. And the body is gone too?
No, the body is of minerals. Our body is made of minerals. It decays, or sometimes for some prophets, it doesn't decay. Yes, we're going to come to that. Our time is out, so I'm going to take it after the lecture about Raj'a. She's talking about Raj'a, coming back and so on. We're going to talk about it. But then...
How come, I'm sorry.
Yes.
How come no one discovers his body? And where is his body?
Do you know where all the prophets' bodies are?
ولا حتى فاطمة الزهراء we know where her.
خب لأنها دفنت يعني ما ماتت بالبرجر.
الطالب يتحلل من جسم يتحلل إلى معاني.
That is the view that Ayatollah Jawadi Amali has.
The situation. يعني he disappeared. They thought that he was crucified.
Right.
And he went somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was in the منطقة يعني.
region.
The area.
That he died and that we do not know where his physical body is not a great it's not a great issue, because first of all there was a minority who believed in him at that time. A minority who became Muslims and Ansarullah, right? Hawariyun. Okay, can I say Rahmatullah alayhim ajma'in? Kullu Hawariyun. We don't have the view that our Christian friends have about Hawariyun. The disciples of Isa were Ansarullah. That's what the verse says. They were pure human beings, what we call an insanul kamil. They had reached very high degrees of spirituality, but they were different from power. Now, power was something else. They love power. We have issues with power, okay? We have issues. He was the one who came with Trinity. He was the one who abolished the Sharia, right? Otherwise, Isa had the same Sharia as us. So, continuing, we're going to come to the questions, inshallah. So, the only view which is considered as strong from both of these scholars is that the view that he is, what? That he died a natural death. And that is the final view. For example, Allah Tabai says that the view that Al Masih is still alive and never died, while his student, Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, he says, and he came to the conclusion that Al Masih is dead and died a natural death, and that he would return at the time of Imam Al-Mahdi. Okay? And we, as I said, because I didn't have time, but you have 24 verses where 23 of them are using the word fawt as wafat, as what? As maut. As maut. And then he mentions the mi'raj of the Prophet, he mentions the words of Nabi Isa, and so on and so forth. So they come with strong arguments about this. But I'm just going to say the summary now. According to the majority view, it is that, number one, you have two views only. One, that he lives in a parallel universe somewhere, in a physical dimension in the universe somewhere, or that he could be in another Earth-like planet that has the same facilities as this Earth. All right, that is, and is billions of light years away from our planet Earth. That is one view. Okay, but according to the minority view, because they couldn't solve this issue. All of you who say that his physical body went to heaven, they couldn't solve this issue. Then how and where did he go? Okay, so according to the minority view is that he died and that he is in Barzakh and that he will return when Imam Mahdi comes to the stage, and that he will be brought back to life, which means that his spirit will be attached to that physical body again. Okay, that's it. It does not contradict, sisters and brothers, Nabi Uzair in the Noble Quran. What does it say? Didn't Nabi Uzair die a physical death?
100 years.
And he came back. وَرَجَعَ, right?
بعد 100 سنة.
Exactly. And could I say one more thing? What about the person at the time of Nabi Musa alayhi salam? Surah Al-Baqarah, right? Take a part of the flesh of the cow and slap it on the dead body. The body came alive miraculously. What else? Do you have other examples? Ashab al-Kahf. I do not know about that. Yeah, I'm a little bit because they say that they slept. It's different. But what about, yes? All right, that's animals. All right, good. That's animals. Raja'a there. That's good. And Isa alayhi salam. Good. The example that I wanted to give. Isa alayhi salam himself, what did he do? Bi'idhnillah. Right? The person came alive. He was dead. He came alive. Raja'a. Alright, so the concept of Raja'a exists in the Quran. So if someone comes and say, look, I don't understand this Raja'a, well, you have tons of examples here, okay? So it exists. But Isa alayhi salam, his ruh, which is not in only Barzakh, but it is also in a higher realm, we call that realm Alam al-Arwah, will be attached to a physical body, which will be Isa al Masih's body. Okay? So that's all what I have to say, and I hope it was something new, controversial. Okay, and I'm sorry I did not have the time to go through all my proofs, the verses from the Quran. I apologize for that. But if anyone is interested, I can post what I have written. And if you have any questions, I'm at your service. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.